Hello there and welcome to Going Coastal. We've got a jam-packed episode for you this week as we look at the inspiration that the Great British Coast gives us. We've also got the start of this year's Seagull Appeal. You know what, Clive, I'm sinking into the mud. I don't think we should have gone over that line. You know where the flags are? On this week's episode, Compton Fleet discovers the surprising truth behind one of the most famous sea shanties ever sung.
He was not going to work in the whorehouse as his sister did.
Sister did, his mother, I think.
And his mother. But instead, he chose the life of a poet.
The life of a troubadour, indeed.
Wendy Wallace is getting crafty, and we'll be launching our annual Seagull Appeal. I love the coast. Even if this wasn't my job, I'd come down to the beach every weekend if I could. Which I can. So I do. I get a lot of inspiration from the sea and the sand and the surf. And I'm not the only one. Poets, painters, potters, they all get a lot of inspiration from the sand and the sea and the surf. And today, Compton Fleet will be looking into one of the greatest sea shanty writers and the inspiration that he got from the water and the women. Shanties are the saucy, salty songs of the sea, and I can't get enough of them. What should we do with a drunken sailor? Blow the man down? Friggin' in the rigging? They were all written by one man, Seagull Whittock. Whittock was press-ganged into the Navy when he was just 5 years old, but he grew into an able-bodied seaman. He served on many a boat and had many a song to sing. He had a lady in every port and would write songs about any strumpet that would blow his trumpet. One day, he was so busy writing a song that he sailed his boat into a storm and crashed onto some rocks. That song was Mary Me. But who was this captivating wench that had caused the death of 15 men? I met with historian Alistair Brambles, who believes he may have the answer.
You have some quite extraordinary ideas about who Mary may be.
As you know, there was some thought that she may have been a member of the royal household. We now think that she was, in fact, a teacup maker. Mary May is more than just the idealized woman. She is the saint. She is the whore. She is the ethereal yet still very real woman. She is metaphysical in the sense that she is not the coy mistress of Marvell. She is not the rather cerebral mistress of Dun. In many ways, Whittock has outdone. He has outmarvelled Marvell. But there's no question that Mary May was very much a living, breathing woman.
Of course. And another theory that goes around is that Mary May was in fact an animal. You possess a keen art for rotting to entrench. At night we do lay. You take me by the gentry, and with a loving hand do guide my re-entry.
There was a new project to record Scarlo's shanties with the London Symphony Orchestra. I travelled to London's Abbey Road studios to listen to the recording, but there was a delay on the Jubilee line. By the time I got there, everyone was going home. As I walked around London filming these insert shots, I wondered if Scarlo Whittock would have imagined we'd still be talking about him all these years later. We know he was a sailor. We know he was a poet. He was also a raging alcoholic. He loved lager shandies as much as he did singing shanties.
After one particularly drunken evening, he got on a boat and woke up here. And come up the Seine, he woke in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower, which was also the location for the opening of Michael Crawford and Disney's Condor Man.
He and his crew spent a lovely weekend in Paris, much like I did. But whereas my trip was fully paid for and expenses, he had to trade his songs and his body to survive.
He didn't like it, so he went home.
Scarlo eventually got bored of the sea, and after losing his legs to syphilis, went to live in a cottage, where he wrote his most beautiful poem, Ode to the Knackered Sailor. It was here he wrote his most famous poem, and my absolute favourite. However, it turns out there was another Scottish poet with the exact same name who I'd never heard of, so he didn't write this poem at all. Of course, it's not just great artists inspired by our coast. Wendy Wallace is giving it a go as well.
So this week on Foraging the Coast, we're going to be finding lots of things we can make, like, I don't know, a shite out of. People might buy on Etsy or something like that. I mean, already I found some shells and a really good piece of glass. So, yeah, join me. Do you remember that old Sting song, Message Out of a Bottle? Well, that was fuller than I expected it to be. You can literally grab anything. So let's just say this down here, this it's like, I don't know, just shitty net. It's like a bit of net. I could make a hat. Maybe I'll make a hat. I'm not gonna make a hat. Let's go see what we can make out of these twats. What are you fucking doing on there? You're not supposed to be on the table, you know that. So, I brought it all home and I made some stuff out of it. So let's just walk through what I've made. So, first of all, a shell makes a very useful ashtray. You never thought of that. Next, I stuck some goggly eyes onto a shell. Made a little man. Entertain the wee kiddies with that. So next, you know, like when people are causing you a lot of shit and you just want to fuck off. I made a little cosh out of a stick and a stone. I mean, that's gonna fuck it. Oh, that fucking dent at the table there, no joke. That's gonna hit you, that's gonna hurt, so, you know, you can use that. Found a bit of glass, and I just thought I'd just put that in this cigarette packet that I found as well, you know. Just keep sitting there. I also stuck a shell to some ceramics. But this is the pride of my collection. I think I'll get a few bob for this on Etsy. This is my my Little Mermaid, you know, like the like in Disney. It's like the Little Mermaid, like you can see her tits and everything like put on there and some eyes and stuff. I'm gonna try to sell that for at least 20 quid. I think I'll definitely reap that. Anyway, it's the sort of stuff you can do. I mean, this took me, I don't know, 5 minutes. You could probably spend maybe 10 and make it a bit better than that. But yeah, just grab the shite and stick it together. Sellotapes your friends. Some of the perils of foraging on the coast and what you pick up. Turns out I did actually pick up a dog shite. I'm gonna blame those wee cunts over there. Anyway, come back next week for some more foraging the coast, or don't, you know, do whatever you fucking want.
Every year, Going Coastal dedicates itself to our annual Seagull Appeal. Look around you. Can you see any seagulls? I can't, and I've really looked today. We're worried. We're worried about the seagull. That the seagull is dying out. So here's what we want you to do. Go out, have a bag of chips, and maybe just drop some on the floor. It might be just the small amount that a seagull needs to feed a family. This year, all proceeds from our calendar will be going to the Seagull Appeal. One lone seagull, desperately looking for something to eat. There's no chips here. There's no chip bombs, no battered sausage. They're going hungry. So please, buy some chips. Save a seagull. Every year we lose seagulls to mistaken chips. This year alone, over 5,000 seagulls have choked those little wee wooden forks you get from the chip shop because they thought they were chips, but they're not. They're pointy bits of wood. Seagulls are getting more and more desperate. They're fighting over scraps, and I don't mean the kind of scraps you actually get from the chippy if you ask, do you have any scraps, pal? You know, those wee tasty bits of batter. No, they're actually getting battered and having scraps over scraps, but not scraps, you know. They're starving.
I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. Don't be afraid to let them go. Your true colors, shining through like a rainbow.
Well, that's all for Going Coastal this week. We'll see you next time.
On next week's Going Coastal, I'll be taking you on a coastal hike. Wendy Wallace gets wet.
It's time for the jelly! Someone quick, piss on me!
And I'll be speaking to a modern day pirate.